Across the scorched land, the primitive tribe drags their feet through the burning heat. The ground is cracked, scattered with white bones, and fine red dust clings to their bodies. The sound of dragging footsteps, labored breathing, echoes steadily. One of the old ones in the group collapses, helped up by its kin. All stop, looking up at the sky where black dots circle above. When the ground trembles faintly, a deep sound reverberates through the air, a strange noise never heard before, like a call from the distant heart of the earth. The primitive tribe climbs the cliff, bare hands and feet gripping every crevice. Pebbles fall, breaths grow heavier. When they reach the top, the entire group stands still. Before them opens an immense expanse, its dark blue surface in constant motion. Damp wind carries a salty taste across their skin, matting the red dust on their bodies. Below, white waves explode against black rocks, creating the rumbling roar they had heard. For the first time, they stand before the boundary between dry land and the endless water. A young primitive being, parched with thirst, rushes down toward the blue water. The tribe shouts to stop him, but he plunges his face into the water, drinking greedily. Moments later, his body convulses and collapses onto the wet sand. The others gather around, anxious, not daring to touch him. A female rushes forward, pressing her hands on his belly, forcing the water out of his body. When his weak breath returns, she bends down to taste the rainwater trapped in a rock crevice, then nods firmly. The tribe watches, understanding that not every source of water holds life. When the tide recedes, a wide tidal flat is revealed, covered with wet sand and strange shells. The primitive tribe spreads out, foraging for food. Thin hands claw through the sand, hoping to find something edible. One male picks up a bright spiral shell, smashes it open, scoops out the white flesh inside, and swallows it whole. The stench of salt and hunger makes the tribe forget fear. Nearby, a small one curiously touches a transparent creature lying still on the sand. A piercing scream echoes across the tidal flat. The small one collapses, its hand burning red and blistered. At the same time, the male who had eaten the shell stiffens, falls backward, eyes rolling white. The tribe stands frozen, terrified, not understanding what just happened. The stench from the salty wind and the wet sand blend with faint hissing sounds escaping from their throats. The tribe retreats, trembling, watching the two convulsing bodies amid the glittering sand. The sea has taught them the price of recklessness and hunger. Amid the silence, a female stands still, observing. From the water's edge comes the cry of white birds. The flock swoops down, pecking rapidly at black shells clinging to rocks, avoiding the jellyfish and the colorful shells. The female watches, then imitates using a thin stone to pry open the mussel shell, revealing the meat inside. She tastes it, then nods. The female raises the mussel high, points to the birds, to the food, then shakes her head toward the corpses. The tribe understands the sea can kill them, but it can also teach them how to live. The sun tilts westward, its light spreading across the immense tidal flat. The primitive tribe, now familiar with this place, scatters to search for food. Their hands dig deep into the sand, pulling out clams and small crabs. Heavy breaths mix with the soft whisper of the wind. No one notices how far they have wandered from the safety of the rocky shore. Beneath their feet, the wet sand lies smooth. No trace of waves left behind. Far inside the cave, a few old ones and small ones sit waiting in a low crevice, their eyes hollow. The sea is calm, but that calmness foretells something strange. A female digging for clams suddenly feels cold around her feet. A thin stream of water flows by, spreading gradually, then rising. The sand disappears beneath a clear layer of water. The whole tribe lifts their heads, looking around water everywhere. The tribe begins to run, splashing through the shallows. The water rises quickly, to their knees, then to their thighs. The strong current tilts each step. One falls, struggling to stand in pack. Far away, the cave where the small ones sheltered has vanished beneath white waves. The sea roars, sweeping away every footprint from the tidal flat. The primitive tribe fights against the waves, clinging to the rock face. A large boulder blocks the cave mouth, and faint cries can still be heard inside. The males and females press their shoulders together, pushing with all their strength. Water rushes through, white foam spraying upward. The sound of cracking stone echoes sharply. And the boulder rolls away. Murky water bursts out, carrying soaked bodies with it. The tribe climbs together to the higher ledge, watching the water rise and cover the sandy shore. As night falls, a full moon illuminates the surface of the sea. A female points toward the moon, then at the watermarks on the rock wall. The tribe understands the sea has a rhythm, just like breathing. On the high cliff, the primitive tribe sits watching the water rise within a narrow bay. Through a small gap in the rocks, the current carries a school of silver fish swimming inward. The tribe silently observes, waiting. When the tide recedes, the water leaves the bay, and the fish swim out with the flow. A female points toward the narrow gap, crossing her hands in a gesture to block the passage. The tribe understands. When the water drops lower, they climb down, move along the rocky wall, and pull seaweed mats drifting near the shore. A new plan begins, born from observation and patience. The primitive tribe wades in shallow water, dragging massive, soaked, heavy mats of seaweed. They try to use the seaweed to block the narrow passage, to stop the water's flow. But the strong current pushes everything back. The water churns violently, the wind rises. Dark clouds roll in from afar. female looks up and sees the enormous wall of water approaching. The tribe has no time to retreat. The wave crashes in, destroying everything. The entire tribe is thrown, swept into the white torrent, crashing against rocks, spinning in the chaos of the raging sea. The wave retreats, forming a violent whirlpool. A female is swept far away. A male's leg is trapped between rocks. He struggles, but cannot break free. The female surfaces, sees him, then swims back against the current. She grabs his arm, trying to pull him free. Blood spreads through the water, attracting a predator. A grey fin appears, a large fish charges in. The male shoves the female away from the current, facing the creature himself. The water foams red. The wave carries his body away. But the seaweed drifts back, catching on the rocks, sealing the gap by chance. The first trap is formed. After the violent wave, the female is swept far away, her body exhausted, clinging to a decayed log floating amid the cold water. The sun burns above, and the wind carries the taste of salt. Beneath the surface, a large fin circles, slicing the waves into dark arcs. The female grips the log tightly, her nails digging deep into the rotted bark, struggling to keep herself from sinking. Blood from a small wound mixes into the water, spreading as a faint streak that drifts into the deep blue sea. As the large fish charges forward, the water ahead suddenly swells upward. A massive dark shape rises from below a giant sea turtle. It's heavy, solid shell ramming straight into the fish's body. The impact echoes across the surface, foam bursting white, fish loses direction, thrown aside, then vanishes into the depths. The sea grows calm again. The turtle floats between the waves, breathing heavily, while the female clings to the log, wide-eyed, staring at the strange creature standing between her and death. The turtle surfaces beside her. Its shell, rough and solid, drifts gently on the water. The female clings to it, pulling herself up, collapsing onto the turtle's back. Together, they drift with the current through the night sea. The moon rises, its light shimmering across the water like thousands of silver scales. By morning, the female awakens and feels sand beneath her feet. She has washed ashore on a new land, while the turtle has disappeared beneath the waves. She stands, looks back toward the sea, and places her hand upon her chest, a gesture of gratitude to the one who saved her life. The primitive tribe shelters under the shadow of a towering cliff. Their eyes fixed on the sea where the male once died in the water crevice. A female stands up, gazing at the massive rocks where white birds circle above. She begins to climb, her hands gripping the cracks, her feet finding tiny footholds. A child from the tribe climbs after her, faster and lighter. Both reach a high ledge and discover a small water hollow shimmering with shells. The child dips a hand into the pool, stirring its still surface, unaware that something waits beneath. From the crevice, a slimy grey mass extends outward, wrapping tightly around the child's wrist. The child screams, struggling as it is pulled violently inward. The female climbing below hears the cry and scrambles upward. When she reaches the spot, she sees the child being dragged backward into the hole, its body squeezed by slippery, soft arms. The female grabs the child's legs, pulling in the opposite direction. A fierce struggle erupts strength against the octopus's grip. Sand, water, and stone scatter within the narrow space between survival and devouring. The female stops pulling, staring into the crevice at the slimy creature. She pulls a sharp stone from her side, raises it high, and plunges it deep into the soft, pulsing flesh. A burst of black ink sprays out, covering her face. Temporarily blinded, she gropes through the dark liquid, feeling the creature's body, then stabs repeatedly. The tentacles loosen their grip. She drags the child out of the crevice, pulling the octopus with her. Black ink spreads over the rock, soon washed away by water. The female sits breathing heavily, looking at the strange creature, a new source of food from deep within the rocks. After many days of hunger, the primitive tribe follows the rocky wall in search of shelter. A female leads the way, discovering a deep crack that cuts into the stone. Inside, water still remains, glimmering with light. Beneath the surface, silver streaks move a school of fish trapped after the tide receded. A male wades in, stirring the water. The frightened fish dart through the narrow gap, vanishing into the sea. A roar of frustration echoes through the rocks. The tribe stands silent, realizing that the water has taken away their chance to survive. The female sits on the rock ledge, observing the narrow outlet where the fish disappeared. Far away, large mats of seaweed drift lazily with the waves. She stands and lets out a short call. The male below looks up, then nods. Together, they walk to the water's edge, pulling in a heavy, soaked sheet of seaweed. The tribe lifts it together, carrying it into the rock crevice. They stuff the seaweed into the exit, pressing it tight with their hands, wedging small stones around the edges. Amid the salty water, a crude net is formed from seaweed and stone. As the tide rises again, the current sweeps the fish back into the crevice. The seaweed barrier holds firm, blocking the way out. When the water retreats, the fish panic, swimming frantically for escape, only to become tangled in the tough strands. The sound of splashing fills the air. tribe climbs down, catching each fish by hand. No chase, no spears. Silverfish thrash wildly in their grasp. The male raises a fish high. The female lifts the seaweed net. The tribe looks at one another. From soft seaweed and hard stone, a new way of hunting is born. The sky darkens, wind howling through the cracks in the rocks. The sea rages, waves rising high, smashing apart the tribe's seaweed net full of fish. They flee, climbing into the high caves to escape the storm. Wind and water swirl violently, crashing against the cliffs. In the darkness, the roar of waves mixes with cries and screams. When the storm passes, the sea falls silent, but the shore lies in ruin. Everything has been swept away, leaving only the blazing sun and the dry sting of salt. Hungry and thirsty, the tribe collapses on the burning sand, lips cracked, no water left to survive. From afar, round, hairy objects drift ashore, rolling across the sand. The tribe watches, believing them to be remnants of their ocean enemy. A male, enraged, picks up a stone and hurls it at one of the round shapes. The shell cracks open, and a stream of clear water sprays out, splashing his leg. The tribe startles, stepping back, thinking it poison. The male rubs sand onto his skin, trying to wipe it off. None dare approach. On the sand, the water slowly seeps away, leaving a strange fragrance unlike the stench of the sea. Yet the tribe remains wary, staring as if before a forbidden thing. In the circle of silence, a small one, weak from thirst, crawls toward the puddle that spilled from the round shell. It lowers its face to drink. The tribe cries out, but it is too late. The small one breathes, eyes open. No poison, only sweetness. The female steps forward, tastes it, then nods. The water is cool, fragrant, pure. The tribe looks at one another, realizing the sea does not bring only peril. From the broken coconut, they find both water and rich white flesh. The enemy that once killed them now grants them life, a gift from the ocean. Under the bright full moon, silver light covers the wet sand. The primitive tribe sleeps deeply after a full meal. The female sits apart, gazing out to the sea. From the shimmering water, a massive dark shape rises, slowly crawling ashore. Heavy breaths echo, mingling with the sound of sliding sand. The female stands, recognizing the familiar figure, the giant sea turtle. It crawls toward the place where the tribe sleeps. A male awakens, sees it, and mistakes it for a giant lump of meat. He picks up a sharp stone and silently moves behind the heavy creature. The female rushes forward, placing herself between the male and the sea turtle. Her arms spread wide, a deep growl rises from her chest. The male freezes, lifting the stone in warning. The female does not move aside. She points to her chest, then to the turtle, her gestures telling the story it once saved her life. The surrounding tribe stands silent, watching. The turtle continues to dig slowly in the sand, preparing to lay eggs. The male lowers his hand gradually, his breath heavy. The entire tribe witnesses the two beings, one human, one turtle sharing the same ground, no longer hunter and prey. When the turtle departs, leaving behind a mound of sand filled with eggs, the male steps forward, about to dig. The female approaches, kneels down, but takes nothing. She gathers the sand, covering the nest carefully, erasing its traces. The male stops, watching, then drops the stone onto the sand. The tribe stands still. The female looks up, toward the sea, where the turtle has vanished. That gesture becomes the first covenant between humankind and the sea, not only to hunt, but also to protect. The sea has given them food, and now they begin to learn how to give life back. In the distance, across the narrow strait, lies a lush land filled with fruit and the calls of birds. But between the two places flows a powerful whirlpool with sharp rocks and the fins of hunting fish. None dare to swim across. The tribe is trapped between the dead land and the violent sea. The sound of hungry stomachs rumbles among the dry, burning wind. The female looks across the water gap, knowing that one wrong step means being swallowed by the sea. One morning, a deep hiss echoes from the strait. The tribe rushes out and sees a giant whale stranded ashore. It breathes heavily, tail thrashing weakly, then falls still. The tribe waits until the sun climbs high, then descends to inspect it. The female cuts through the thick skin, revealing the white fat beneath. The tribe cheers, rushing to carve the flesh, carrying chunks up to the shore. Day after day, they eat and survive beside the enormous carcass. When all the meat is gone, only the white skeleton remains, stretched across the narrow water. The female approaches the massive skeleton, placing her hand upon the curved ribs. She tests a step, then climbs up. Beneath her feet, the current surges, foaming white. She spreads her arms for balance, walking slowly along the slick bones. Midway through, a strong gust blows. She stumbles, kneels, then crawls onward until she reaches the far side. The tribe behind her follows one by one, crawling across the white bridge amid the roar of waves.
Quickly, move!
When all have crossed, they stand upon the new land, looking back at the sea, the boundary between life and death that they have just overcome. The primitive tribe sets foot on the new island. Beneath their feet lies damp, soft sand that steams with moisture. The air is thick with the scent of earth and decaying plants. Ahead stretches a vast, flat plain gleaming under the sun, covered with a thin layer of water and scattered white shells. In the distance, thousands of crabs scuttle sideways, reflecting the sunlight. The young ones cry out with excitement, pointing ahead. Hunger drives some to forget fear. They rush across the bright, shining ground. Each step leaves a deep mark in the soft earth, as if stepping into the sea's invisible trap. The first one to run into the bright plain suddenly stops. The soft sand collapses, water bubbling around its ankles. Each step makes the ground tremble, then sink deeper. The tribe tries to pull their feet free, but the more they move, the harder the sand grips, making dry thud sounds as it sucks them down. Shouts echo across the flat expanse. The female rushes forward but halts as her own feet begin to sink. She steps back slowly to avoid being pulled under. In the distance, the sea surface ripples. Tide rises quickly, flooding the tidal plain. The trapped bodies gradually disappear beneath the swirling, murky water. The female finds several driftwood logs along the shore. She drags and stacks them, forming a narrow path across the mud. A dry branch is extended like a lifeline. A male, sinking deep, grabs it. The female pulls hard, straining her whole body. The tribe behind holds the other end of the log. Beneath them, water surges, waves splashing over their bodies. One by one, they are pulled free, soaked and trembling. The tribe collapses onto firm ground. Female looks back at the marsh, now buried under the tide, then turns away, beginning to follow the cliffside in search of safety. As the tide recedes, the tidal flat reappears, full of crabs and clams. A primitive tribe, weak with hunger, stands upon the dry strip of land. A small one steps forward, but the female rushes over, shoving it down. She growls, spreading her arms to block the tribe, preventing anyone from stepping into the soft ground. The tribe retreats, their eyes filled with both fear and anger. Behind them lies the dark forest, ahead, the deadly tidal plain. The male lifts his head, staring at the towering white cliff where thousands of seabirds screech a source of life lying just out of reach. The male begins to climb. His hands grip small cracks in the stone, blood running from his fingers. The wind howls, white dust falls. The tribe below watches, holding their breath, as the male nears the nests and the sky suddenly falls silent. Then, hundreds of birds dive, sharp beaks striking his face, hands, and shoulders. His cries echo. The male shields his eyes, losing his grip. A beak pierces his palm, he falls from the cliff. The wind cuts through the air, followed by a dry, heavy thud as his body hits the sand. The tribe rushes to surround the injured male. His arm is broken, blood soaking into the sand. The female kneels beside him, then raises her head, looking around. The tidal flat is a trap, the cliff, a place of death. There is no safe path left. She slams her fist into the ground, then freezes, eyes fixed on the distance. Beyond, a small bay lies hidden beneath the rocks, where water flows in and out through a narrow gap. The female rises, signaling the tribe to drag the wounded one into the cave. Her gaze remains locked on the small bay where a new idea is beginning to form. The primitive tribe moves along the shore of the new land. The female leads, her eyes scanning every rock formation and crevice. Behind her, the injured male walks slowly, his broken arm bound with dry vines. The tribe stops before a small bay, enclosed on three sides by cliffs, with only a narrow, shallow channel leading to the sea. When the tide rises, the water rushes in, carrying fish and crabs. When it recedes, everything flows back out. The female points to the narrow gap, then to the pile of rocks nearby. The tribe understands they must block the flow to hold the source of life. The tribe waits until the tide is at its lowest, revealing the slick, wet bottom of the bay. The female signals. They begin rolling large stones toward the narrow passage. One male braces his shoulder to push, another props wood beneath, using his body weight as leverage. The grinding and clashing of rocks echo across the space. Sweat mixes with seawater into salty streams. The stone wall gradually rises amid the wet sand. The female listens to the changing rhythm of the waves. The tide is returning. The tribe rushes to place the final stone, racing against the sea before it floods everything again. As the wall nears completion, an injured male struggles to push the final stone into place. From the dark crevice, a massive claw shoots out, gripping his arm tightly. A cry of pain pierces the air. The tribe pulls back hard. The female grabs a sharp stone and spots the soft joint where the shell connects. She lunges forward, driving the stone's tip into the gap and prying with force. A dry crack echoes the claw breaks, blood spilling into the seawater. The waves surge in. The tribe pushes together, forcing the final stone into position, sealing the gap. As the tide rises, the wall holds firm. A pool of water within the sea is born. The sun climbs high, casting light over the dry white sand. The tide has receded, leaving behind a still plain and a small pool in the center of the bay. In the shade of the rocks, the primitive tribe rests, their bodies coated in dust and dried salt. The male with the broken arm lies still, his breathing slow. The female sits apart, gazing toward the old sand mound on the beach. The sand there begins to shift. From beneath the hot ground, hundreds of tiny turtles emerge, crawling toward the sea. They drag themselves across the sand, slow and fragile. The struggle for survival begins before the tribe's eyes. The sky fills with sharp cries. From the cliffs, a flock of white birds appears, circling above the baby turtles. One by one, they dive, striking and lifting their prey in their beaks. Small bodies fall scattered across the sand. The male, enraged, picks up a stone, ready to throw. The female stops him, placing her hand on his shoulder, shaking her head. She points not at the birds, but at the turtles still crawling. The male hesitates, then lowers the stone. The cries of birds, the scraping of shells, and the roar of waves merge into one sound, life being tested between sky and earth. The female rushes to gather dry branches. The male and the child follow. They do not attack. They form a line between the turtles and the sea. The tribe shouts together, waving the branches above their heads, creating a moving wall. The birds falter, startled, circling higher. The primitive tribe steps back slowly, shielding the turtles as they crawl toward the water. When the last ones reach the edge, small waves carry them into the ocean. Far offshore, the shadow of a large turtle surfaces, turning toward the land. The tribe stands still and then bows their heads in silence. The old stone wall, covered in green algae and tiny oysters, has hardened into a solid mass. The pool inside is crystal clear, teeming with fish and crabs. A young female stands at the edge, spearing fish and tossing them onto the shore. On a rock ledge, a male with a bent arm keeps watch, sharpening a stone with a dry scrape. Sound. From the cave, an old female steps out grey, haired, wrinkled, walking slowly with a wooden stick. She accepts a fish from the young one and eats slowly. Everything is peaceful until the male lifts his head, sensing something strange on the wind. In the distance, another group of primitive humans approaches. They are starving, thin, bodied, dragging their feet through the hot sand. A female collapses, a small child limp in her arms. They see the pool full of fish. A low growl rises. The stranger tribe picks up stones, raises sticks, and spreads into a threatening line. The guardian male roars back, standing tall, pounding his chest 3 times, creating an echo. He leaps down, seizing a large stone, ready to fight. The young female lifts her fish spear, standing beside him, eyes tense and fixed on the intruders. Just as the two sides are about to clash, the old female steps forward. She walks with her stick between the two groups. Without speaking, she places her hand on the male's arm holding the stone. The crowd falls silent. She moves to the water's edge, catches a silver fish, and lays it down between them, an offering. The stranger tribe hesitates, then lowers their gaze. The old female leads them to the rocky shore, showing how to pry mussels open, then points toward the sea, where the turtle nests once lay a gesture of protection. The strangers follow her lead. The two tribes catch fish together, share food together. The humans no longer fight, but unite to guard the tidal pool.